For pricing information and where you could pick up any of the products that you see in this video, be sure to hit up the links down in the description below over to Amazon, which does help to support my channel. Hey, what's up guys? Joker here. Hope you all had a good weekend. Today we are going to be taking a look at some early Black Friday deals, even though Black Friday isn't until, well, this Friday. We've got some early deals as Amazon has kicked off their Black Friday week, so I'm going to be going through about 10 or so, a little bit more than 10 actually, pieces of computer hardware that you guys might want to consider picking up right now while these things are much cheaper than what they typically are throughout the rest of the year. I know this is like one of my favorite weeks to be picking up computer hardware. I pretty much save up my money all month and don't buy anything so that I can take advantages of some of these deals. And the first one I'm going to share with you is one that I will definitely be taking advantage of. And that is the SSDs, which is probably the thing that I pick up most often when it does come to Black Fridays, because everyone is always needing more storage. I mean, probably most of you watching this video already have a full-on PC setup, but the one thing that we all always need is more storage, and SSD prices have been plummeting over the past 3 or 4 months and are expected to possibly even drop lower than what they are now outside of like Black Friday. This is probably the cheapest that we will actually see these. And we're starting off here with the Samsung 860 EVO. This is a 1 terabyte M.2 drive, which is selling for $130. Like, let that set in. $130, not only for a 1 terabyte SSD, but an M.2 SSD. Now, this is not an NVMe drive, so you're not going to get like insane like 2,000 megabit read and write speeds on one of these drives. You're going to get somewhere in the range of like 500 to 600 megabit, which is still very fast, and in the small form factor of a M.2 drive, which is nice and convenient. Don't got to worry about running any wires. If you've got a vacant M.2 slot, you can go ahead and pop this guy right in. Now, if you maybe are already populating your M.2 slot, or you don't have a motherboard that supports it, a little bit older of a motherboard, they've still got you covered here with Samsung 2.5-inch drives, another 1 terabyte, very good drive. I've used these in systems before, and these are selling for $128. So $2 cheaper than the M.2 drives, and you really can't go wrong with either one of them. I guess really just pick whichever one fits your preference. If you want a standard 2.5-inch, then you can get that. If you want the M.2, then you can go ahead and do that as well. The M.2s, I'm probably going to pick up like 3 of them, because my new motherboard, the Z390 Master from Gigabyte, actually has 3 M.2 slots, and right now I only have a 256 gigabyte in there, so I might end up taking that out, throwing in 3 1 terabyte Samsungs, and then starting off a fresh install of Windows on the new 1809 updates. So that's kind of my plans going ahead. Let me know if you're going to pick one up down in the comments below. We've also got a nice mouse on sale. This is the Logitech G Pro FPS mouse. It's really good for first-person shooters because of the small form factor. It's a mouse that I used for about 6 months until I switched over to using wireless mice from Logitech. I'm actually right now using the wireless version of that mouse. This is the Logitech G305. It's basically the exact same shape and size and everything. The only real difference is that it does not have a wire on it, and it uses a single AA battery. However, I wouldn't let that discourage you, because the battery that's in here has been the same one in here since I got the mouse, which I believe was back in maybe like March or April. So the batteries on these things last insanely long because of the Hero sensor and how power efficient they are, and they also happen to be super accurate. So that's why I use this thing for gaming and just doing content creation, whatever. It's just my everyday mouse, and I absolutely love it. Now, as I said, the Logitech G Pro on here, this is the wired version for $30, so it's more than half off of what it's usually selling for. However, if you do want the wireless version, it is a little bit cheaper right now, not like an insane deal, but you can get the black version for $52, down from $60. They've also got a white version, but that's selling for the full $60 value. But honestly, with either one of them, you can't go wrong. As I said, I love this mouse and I use it every day, and I can't imagine changing unless they come out with something a little bit better, but ideally in the same shape and size of the G305 or the G Pro gaming mouse. Now, for memory prices have been absolutely insane over the past year or so, and right now they've got 16 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance LPX RAM at 3000 megahertz selling for $130, which is very good price. And this is RAM that, again, I try to recommend stuff for these deals, stuff that I've actually used or use in my everyday systems, and Corsair Vengeance LPX RAM is something that I was using in my main system until my recent upgrade, and I would definitely use it again as I've used it in multiple PCs. It's really good, fast, reliable RAM, and also it's relatively low profile. So if you are going to do like a big tower heatsink or something like that, then it's going to be good for getting it out of the way. And it's just a simple black stick of RAM, nothing really too gaudy about it. No RGB lighting or anything like that, just a good set of solid memory. And yeah, I can give it my full endorsement as I've used it many, many times before. Now for processors, the Ryzen processors are selling really cheap right now. They've got the Ryzen 5 1600, that's the 6-core 12-threaded processor, selling for $130. That's not the X variant, so it's a little bit lower on the base clock, but you can go ahead and overclock these things easily. Probably 3.9 to 4 gigahertz is what you'd be looking to get out of one of these processors, and you could use the cooler that is included along with it and still be able to overclock it because they run pretty darn cool as well. So $130 for a 6-core 12-threaded processor is insane. That's going to be absolutely fine for gaming right now, for 1080, 1440, whatever. You can even do content creation and stream off of this processor because you've got the extra horsepower of the 12 threads on there. So really good deal, and this was probably my favorite processor in last year's lineup when they launched from AMD. They've also got the Ryzen 7 1700, which is selling for $210. Originally, these were $330 when they came out. They're selling now for around $200, and that is a really good price as well. These are 8 cores, 16 threads. So if you wanted to do more, if you wanted to lean more towards content creation, then I would say go with the 1700 over the 1600 if it's within your budget, because you're going to have that extra horsepower there. So if you did want to do stuff like 3D animation, video editing, more streaming and stuff like that, then the Ryzen 1700 would probably be the way to go if it's within your budget, as I said, but the 1600 is going to be perfectly fine for that stuff as well, and they'll both overclock to around the same frequency depending on how lucky you are with the Silicon Lottery. Now, if you need a motherboard for either one of those processors to go in, you can grab the MSI B350 Tomahawk, which are selling for $70 right now. That's a pretty good price for a B350 board, and this is a board, once again, it's a board that I've used in a system, and with the later BIOS updates, I'm talking about like when this board very, very first came out, I had a couple of little issues here with memory compatibility, but after like about a month, they put out a few BIOS revisions, and ever since then, the board has been absolutely fine, and I've used it in 2 different builds now. And as far as budget B350 boards under $100, I feel like you really can't go wrong with the Tomahawk. They've also got the B350 Gaming Plus, which is also $70, and it seems to be pretty identical as far as the connectivity on the backside. I mean, neither one of them have a ton of connectivity back there, but it's definitely enough to be able to run all your main devices and stuff, and they look fairly similar aesthetically. The difference really is the Tomahawk is gray and the Gaming Plus is black, but otherwise they seem to be very similar motherboards, same layout and things like that, so it doesn't really look like you can go wrong either way, but I've used the Tomahawk and it's been fine for me thus far. Now, if you want to go more onto the high end, the Ryzen Threadripper 1950X, so this is the first-gen Threadripper, is actually selling for $600 right now. When these first came out, they were around $1,000, and they're down at $600 right now, which is kind of pricey, but not pricey when you consider what you're getting. 16 cores, 32 threads, absolutely insane. I've used one in a system that I was sent out a while back, a system that I did have to send back to them, unfortunately. Otherwise, I probably would still be using this thing for content creation, because having those extra cores and threads is just amazing, especially for what I do with video editing and rendering on a daily basis, and I would love to have one of these full-time, but I was never sent one, and just hasn't been in the budget for me in the past year or so to go ahead and pick one of these up to use full-time. Otherwise, I would, or possibly even the 2990WX, which is 32 cores, 64 threads, insane. Wish I had one of those, but sadly, I do not, but you could today for $600. Pretty good deal. Next up, we've got a graphics card. The RX 590s just came out. So the RX 580s have actually seen a reduction in price, and this one is no different here. This is an 8 gigabyte RX 580 card for $210, which would be perfect for 1080p gaming, probably playing most games at Ultra, and you could even do 1080 and 1440p high settings gaming and getting pretty reasonable frame rates in most games. Some newer, more demanding titles is going to be a little tougher to run, but yeah, it's perfectly fine for 1080p gaming. And for $210, pair that up with like the B350 Tomahawk, Ryzen 1600 and 16 gigabytes of RAM, and you're looking at about, what, like maybe $500 there for all that stuff, and that's all of your main, like most of the main components that you would need for a system. From there, you just really need a case, PSU, some storage. You can grab one of the Samsung drives, and you'll be off and running. Now, there is a game bundle that's supposed to be going on right now with these cards, but they're not listing it over on Amazon. However, over on Newegg, they do have cards on sale as well, RX 580s for around $200 to $230, particularly the Gigabyte RX 580. This one's selling for $210, and this does include the game bundle. So the way that it works is you get to choose 2 games with your purchase out of 3. And the 3 games are Resident Evil 2 Remake. It's going to be a remake that's coming out next year. Devil May Cry 5, and then Tom Clancy's The Division 2. So out of those 3 games, you get to choose 2 of them, which is a pretty darn good value. Those are all $60 games. So you're basically looking at like $120 worth of free games included with the $210 graphics card, which is a pretty sweet deal that they've got going on right now. So definitely check that out if you are in need of a graphics card. It might be, hell, if you really wanted those games, it might be worth picking up the card, keeping the game codes, and then selling the card just so that you can get the games for free. Hey, you could do that. I'm not going to stop you. No one else is going to stop you either. eBay is out there. You could resell these cards. Maybe the next cryptocurrency boom will come soon and you'll be able to sell it for triple the price. Who knows? I can't guarantee that. No guarantees will be made about resale value on cards you may or may not pick up just for free game codes. And last, but certainly not least, at least in my mind, this is the only deal on here which is not a PC gaming deal, but it is a definite hard recommendation for me and it's not even a deal, okay? I don't even know why I'm mentioning this. It's not even on sale. It's $450. It's the Red Dead Redemption 2 PS4 Pro bundle, and the only reason I'm recommending it is because this game has literally taken over my life for like the last 30 days. And I have been shuffling, playing this game, and running this channel, and it's been kind of difficult, but I'm like 60% through this game, and I absolutely love it. I don't even know why I included this. It's just because the game is so friggin' amazing. They even made a South Park episode about it. It's just that good. Yeah, I can't recommend this game enough. And if you don't have a PS4 Pro, I guess grab the bundle. Why not? And as I said, that is not a Black Friday deal, at least right now. And yeah, it's just totally worth it. Just go ahead and just buy it. It just works. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here, guys. That is all I've got for you this year on early Black Friday deals. Of course, I will update you later on throughout the week. We'll probably do at least one more of these videos on Black Friday when we do have some other deals to go ahead and discuss, and we'll probably do one for Cyber Monday as well. So make sure that you are subscribed for that content. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up on it down below, and subscribe if you're not already. And if you have been here for a while, consider ringing the notification bell. That way you never miss a moment of content, and you know as soon as a video goes up here on the channel. And I will catch you all tomorrow, and if I don't see you, hope you all have a very good week and a happy Thanksgiving. Ta-ra.